I think we reached about 56,000 signups. This is our fastest growing month, and it's all organic.
Wow.
We don't have money to spend on much.
56,000 signups.
Yep.
Wow. Just that's congrats, man. Truly
Thank you.
congratulations. That's
Thank you.
truly incredible. I'm joined today with Sanjeev from Supermeme.Ai. And this is a super cool app that allows you to use a text prompt to generate a meme using AI. So you can add memes to your marketing, which has absolutely been one of the most effective forms of marketing for the last couple of years, where you see it going and stuff. So the last time we talked about it, when I used it, the one feedback I gave you is that it was still kind of a little repetitive, and having the placement of the text within the meme was kind of not super user friendly yet. So what have you guys done with that since then? Have you got anything?
Yeah, I think we now let you move the text around. So let's
Oh,
say for
nice.
places where you have like the Drake meme where you can have like two different boxes, so you can place it there. And yeah, we're slowly improving like the font and all those things, but that is a huge improvement. I think that's something that even personally for me, I find it very useful.
Yeah. Yeah. It makes the memes a lot more like look user generated.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So supermeme.ai, perfect name. And the initiative itself is hilarious and also very effective because, my background is social media marketing a little bit. Like that's kind of where I started. And one of the very painful parts of that is generating the creative and generating the image and what people are going to look at to get them to read what your copy is. And then the copy is supposed to be enticing enough to pull them in. Right. And so having the idea of like having an AI assistant to do that, especially in the meme world, I mean, I love it. So tell us just a little bit about kind of your background, how you got into it. And yeah, just start there.
Awesome. Thanks, Quentin. So yeah, my background is confusing. Like I started working in customer support, and then I did sales for a bit, and then I did product marketing for a bit and product management. So I've been all over the place. But then what's been consistent about my career is that I've always tried to break the unconventional way of doing things. Right. For example, when I was in product marketing, I used to do a lot of these conference presentations, and I started using memes as part of them, which was unconventional at that point because like you look up at a slide and you expect to see bullet points and graphs and charts.
Yeah.
Right? And I would go up there and I would put a meme on the screen, which is like huge, like behind me. Like there are photos of me with like meme in my background, and that cracked people up, and that people resonate with that. And it was nice as a presenter to go and press the clicker and see a room full of people laughing. Right, that's always nice. So I think that's kind of my experiments with memes, and then I used it in blog posts and social media, the usual thing. I think like recently, let's say when I started working on Super Meme, it was a combination of two products. So Ramshree, one of my co-founders, he was working on the idea of an AI meme generator. So he's the AI expert. I know nothing about AI, but I understood the problem of finding meme templates. Like for a non-meme creator, if you go on ImageFlip and you search for something, unless you know what you're looking for, you're not going to find it. Like if you don't know the Scooby-Doo template, you're not going to find that unmasking template. So that was a problem that I was trying to solve with a no-code tool. Like that's as far as my development knowledge goes. So I was doing that, and then Ramshi was doing AI meme generation. We were connected on LinkedIn, and then we came together, and then we brought in Nico, our third co-founder, as a full stack developer, and then the three of us got together. We believed in the idea, and we felt this is like the perfect team to kind of put this together. All of us have complementary skills, and like we can kind of own up one area and we can start executing. Yeah, that was like yeah, almost a year back. January of 2021 is when we started building.
Almost 2 years back then. It's 23 now.
Oh, sorry. Then it was 2022. I my
Oh, it was in
memory is
2020.
off.
Okay,
Yeah,
so it was in
yeah,
2022.
it too.
So
Yeah,
about a year ago now. Gotcha.
yeah.
That's awesome. And what's funny is as you described it, it sounds a lot to me like really at the end of the day, a natural language text to image use case or task. Even though you're not necessarily generating the image with the text, it's still, classification, text classification, image classification with natural language is a huge field in AI. And, for the last year or so, it's a lot of people, it's been theoretical. It's been like, yeah, maybe it can work out, but you'll never really know. And then Dolly came onto the scene, and like then ChatGPT came onto the scene. Now it's like, whoa, okay, this is like a realistic thing that happens. Like this is a thing that can really work now. And so the timing is incredible for you guys. That's super awesome. Um, so I was looking through the website, and a couple of the points that you guys were making in terms of like, okay, yes, it's funny and that's awesome and it's fun to have fun and be funny, but at the end of the day, you know, it's a business application. It's really meant for solving a real world use case.
Yep.
And so I like that on your website you do have very clearly defined use cases. So can you kind of talk about a few of those?
Yep. I think the macro trend that we're going after is that, okay, marketing is getting monotonous, and it's no secret, right? Like, you look at marketing copies, you look at blog posts, you look at social media posts. It has a certain kind of similar pattern to it. I think the macro trend that we're going after is, okay, marketing is getting monotonous, and we have to break that monotony. So one way to do that is memes, which has obviously gained a lot of popularity on the other side. Like, businesses have recently started adopting it, but then memes have been popular, in pop culture and in personal messaging, in social media as a thing. So what we want to do is, how do we enable businesses to attain, that kind of virality, to attain that kind of entertainment value in their marketing, and how do you enable them to do that? Because imagine, let's say, you've done social media, and you're a social media marketer. You've not done memes, for some reason you've not done memes, but then you join as a social media marketer to a company, and they suddenly expect you to create memes because that's what everyone else is doing. Now, for that person, we want to help them to say, you don't have to worry about knowing the right template. You don't need to know how to edit the image. Just go on Supermeme, type in what you have in mind, and we'll give you a few options to choose from. And you can send that for approval. You can show that to your manager. You can say what works for you. So that's one prominent use case. Like, social media is obviously there, but I think there are a lot of underrated use cases, right? For example, cold emailing is one. Like, you receive cold email. I'm sure you send a lot and you receive a lot of cold emails, and I do as
Of
well.
course.
How do you make that engaging? One trait, if you remember, about memes is that when you scroll through social media, if you see a meme that you like, it sticks in your head, right? You share that with people, and it's something that will make you remember whatever that you saw. And that's the same thing with cold emails, right? We're trying to get their attention. So that's one underrated use case. The other one is, okay, you have a 3,000 word blog post, and you want to break the you don't want to see all words. One way to do that is you include images, you include charts. Another option is also memes, where you're using a meme to kind of support a point that you're making in that blog post. So that's one option. And presentation is
Visualize
something.
things. Yeah.
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 And presentation is something that I've done myself, and it works. So I can watch for that. So it's it's always nice to throw up a meme in there to just to make a point, just to get a few laughters. And all of that is kind of in that broad spectrum of marketing, because at the end of the day, all of us, right? Even if you're even if you run your own product, or if you run your own consulting company, even if you're an individual, it's still trying to sell something, and you need to have the ability to market. And if you're a business, obviously you have a marketing team. They have different functions. And one of the other use cases is also paid ads. When you see paid display ads on LinkedIn or on Google, most of it is promotional. Most of it talks about themselves. But imagine throwing a meme in there and making it a little bit more attention grabbing. You're more likely to get people's attention. So these are some of the things that we hope people will use Supermeme for.
And that's super exciting. So one of the things as I was researching before we started talking too is API access. And of course, DaaS, developers as a service, as you can imagine, we're very application focused, developer focused. So I saw that, and especially the simplistic structure of the API of give in a prompt, get back some suggested memes. That, first of all, kudos to you for adding that. I'm sure that was not an easy feat. And was that just your co-founder doing that, or did you guys actually have to hire people to help do that, or how did that come about?
The credit all goes to Nico and Ramshree. So Nico's a full stack developer. He, I think, did most of the heavy lifting on making that API public. So Ramshree obviously did the the behind the scenes of how do you kind of take the text in and you make that into a meme.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, I don't know much of it. I know enough to just talk about it. But yeah, I think from a use case standpoint, we think there's a lot of kind of unrealized use cases with APIs and memes, because you have so many places that you can use it, right? Like, one of the primary use cases that we hear a lot is, okay, I want to run a marketing campaign, and I want to keep I want to keep that audience engaged to a certain website, right? Like, one thing is, you can use our memes. You can kind of suggest topics for them to type about, and they can go crazy on the text box, and they're going to get memes in return. But there are a lot of other applications, you can build bots, you can build Twitter bots, you can build Slack bots,
Yeah.
Teams bots, and you can do all of those things. And you can integrate with your application. For example, imagine a Supermeme plugin on Canva. You're trying
Yeah.
to come up with a creative, and then you can just like, click on super meme, and then you have a meme coming in there.
Sure.
Or even in Google Docs or Notion, right? You're typing in a document and slash super meme, and it pulls up a meme that can be a supporting collateral to your blog post or your article that you're writing. So there are a bunch of unrealized use cases that I think will add a lot of value.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're all going to be fun. That's the biggest thing, is that it's fun. It's just a
Yeah.
fun experience to get to create jokes and be doing business at the same time. So I think that's that's awesome. And so the API is one aspect of it. And you were talking a little bit about your co-founders. And so who are your co-founders? How'd you get connected with them? Because that's a huge thing in the startup space that people ask me about, is how do I find a co-founder? How do I compel them to be able to either quit their job or, take on so much extra work to make this happen? How do I get into that position? So just kind of talk about that a little bit.
Sure. Yeah, I think it was, for me, it was serendipitous because I was active on LinkedIn. I was posting videos, I was posting memes on LinkedIn, which is kind of like, building my own personal brand. And Ramshi, who's our AI co-founder. So Ramshi is from Hyderabad. He specializes in AI. He runs two other SaaS apart from Supermeme.ai. So he was also doing the same thing on the AI ML side, and we got connected because of a LinkedIn creator event. So we were put on the same Zoom call and we were connected. And I think that's kind of because I was putting myself out there, I got into that opportunity. Now whenever I was posting something, Ramshi was seeing it. When he posts something, I saw it. So I saw him post about AI memes, and he saw me post about my no code product. And that kind of, we obviously saw there is something that, we can work together. And Ramshi knew Nico from Twitter. So he got in Nico from Twitter, and then we were connected. So I would say Ramshi kind of put the whole the initial team together, and it was all social media. So the fact is that we have not met each other in person ever.
Wow, that's powerful.
Nico's from Netherlands, so I don't know when I'll meet him. Ramshi is not far from me. He lives in a different city in India. I think I should probably meet him soon. We operate out of a WhatsApp group. That's kind of our
That's crazy.
that's where
To
everything
have a
happens. So
product, and you have how many users now?
I think we reached about 56,000 signups. This is our fastest growing month, and it's all organic.
Wow.
We don't have money to spend on marketing.
56,000 signups.
Yep.
Wow. Just that's congrats, man. Truly
Thank you.
congratulations. That's
Thank you.
truly incredible. So 56,000 signups, all organic. And another big thing that I talk about with startup founders is the product development lifecycle. And it's how you go from an idea to a design, to a prototype, to an MVP, to a distributed product. So, and I obviously did my own digging. I know that you guys are running on, I think, Next.js, right? Everything's running on Next.js. Yeah. And that's a super, super new framework that is extremely powerful and common in Silicon Valley. So huge plus on you guys for the architecture design of that. And it probably made your API design a lot quicker too, being able to get that API layer added. So, but in the early days, like you were saying, it was a no code product, right? So you literally just on your own, not as a developer really, but mostly just with an idea in your head. You're like, I want to make an app that kind of does this. And how did you come up with that no code design, and how did you build the no code, tool?
Cool. So it was thanks to a no code kind of cohort based course that I was taking. So that was a huge push. I was kind of forced to build something during that time. But even otherwise, this problem always existed in my head, right? Like, for example, if I'm looking for a meme, I know what to look for, because I've spent a lot of time with memes. I know all the templates. So I know exactly if you give me a situation to say that, I want to create a meme about this, I know 4 or 5 templates that I can go look for. But I've seen a lot of people who want to create memes and they end up using the same templates that they know again and again. So what I wanted to do was, okay, when you're looking for a meme, you probably know the emotion you're going after. So it could be angry, it could be betrayal, it could be disappointed, a bunch of things. So I built something which where I went in, I got all the meme templates, not all, but some meme templates that I could manually scavenge, and I tagged them by emotion. And I built a simple search on top of that, and anyone can come and search for any of this, and it will retrieve the appropriate 4 or 5 templates, right? From a design standpoint, it's not like I went from the classic, okay, I have an idea, then a wireframe, then on Figma, and then to no code. I think because I was also constrained on time, and plus I am also lazy. So I think I felt I can just go in there and figure it out. So I just I used Glide first, and then I used Softer later to kind of, make it a little bit more robust. And that is kind of my stack. I just used, and I went in there and I put things together, and then I built it and I showed it to people, and people seem to like it. So which is
Yeah.
always a good sign and good validation that, you can probably take it further.
Right. That's awesome. And so then I've heard countless stories of that being the case. And one of my very first SaaS products was the same way, where I was just like, you know what? Let's forget about design. Let's just put it
Yeah.
together. Now, my own personal feelings is if I had to do it all again, I would not do it that way. Knowing what I know now, if I was going to design a product, I definitely would still go the route that I recommend of draw it out, design it out, MVP it out, go from there. But that's why I do this podcast, is to talk about like, hey, it doesn't mean if you didn't do that, it's not going to be a good product. It's not going to succeed and have 56,000 signups. I mean, truly, truly awesome, man. And so with your roadmap now, so looking forward, because you already have the ability. And one thing that I was thinking that was super cool is like product, even just product description or scenario description, like just being able to put prompts the same way you do in a kind of chat GPT or GPT-3, and saying like, this is what the meme should revolve around, this is kind of what it should be about. And I know you guys already have a tool started towards that, right? Like a full-on meme generator tool that allows you to put more context than just a simple sentence. And so what's the plan with that? Like, how are you guys gonna develop that further?
Cool. I think when we started out, we wanted to build an AI meme generator. So I think that was kind of the broad description. And we kind of understood the value, understood where it can be useful, and like, what we bring to the table through like, the time that we spend building. I think we're at a point where we acknowledge the AI, but then we feel like the meme generation has to take center stage. So I think we want to be a meme generator product that uses AI to create memes and not an AI meme generator. I think that's kind of the evolution that we're going through. This is still something that we're talking about. It's not something that that we have kind of finalized. But I think personally, what I want to do is there are kind of three layers of problem in meme generation, right? So the first problem is obviously generating the meme itself. Now, how do you write how do you find the right templates? How do you write the copy? And like there is that part. And the outer layer is you have the image processing part of it. Like, how do you make sure the aspect ratio is right? Like, on Twitter, it has to be 3.2, and on Instagram, it has to be 1:1. So there is that. And there is obviously text placement. There is obviously text to like meme template to font appropriation. Like for the right template, you have to use the right font. And there are problems in that area, which involves image processing and editing. And the outer layer is your distribution and sharing. Like, how do you make sure that like you share it on the right social media platforms? And there are a bunch of things. So we want to approach it like how do you build the best meme generator app out there that happens to use AI at various levels, right? It could be text to meme, it could be generating topics, memes on a specific topic. Like AI can play anywhere. I think what we're doing is we are taking the AI from the center stage, and we are kind of infusing it in different parts, which I feel is kind of like how any kind of technology is useful, right? It's not the technology that is providing the value, but it's the product, like the core product itself. I think that's kind of where we're moving towards, and that's also where our customers are taking us, right? The kind of requests that we're getting here is also moving us towards that direction. So that's kind of how we're broadly thinking about it.
Yeah, of course. And it seems like the brand that's kind of caught traction then, or I guess not the brand, but the direction that seems to have really shown itself prevalent to me is definitely meme marketing. Because I mean, meme marketing as recent, as early as 2020, even I've seen a lot of people dive into meme marketing, especially when times are hard. People seem to draw to comedy more, right? So we're going into a big recession. Like there's a lot of bad news out there. So when you see a meme, it kind of draws your attention a little more. And there's a psychological impact definitely of jokes, right? Like there's a whole comedy industry based around it. So so definitely can't say that it's not got its use in business. So I would say that all of those things you described with integration, aspect ratios, fine tuning, that all comes with marketing. Because if you're going to be paying for marketing material, if you're going to be doing something that's going to be representing your business, then yeah, you're definitely gonna have those concerns. And so another thing I kind of wanted to ask about, and this is more for my personal, what I think would be super cool, is incorporating GIFs or GIFs, whatever, I'm gonna get 50% of the people that watch this yell at me. So whatever, I said both of them. So animated images in frame, and that's obviously a huge area in the meme world as well. So where are you guys at with that, or how do you feel about that on the roadmap, all that kind of stuff?
It's definitely important. I mean, all the popular platforms anyways do it. For us, it's a matter of extension, right? From a text generation, the context that the actual be it an image, GIF, or a video, the core context is what we need to generate the text. I think that doesn't change much. I think let's say if we nail the image meme generation part, where let's say we are still able to generate a lot more contextual memes and a lot more topical, and we get a lot more variety. Once we figure that part out, I feel the extension that would be easier. I mean, it's a matter of focus, right? It's only you can we're the three of us doing this almost part time, so we want to make sure that okay, we go in and we focus on the right things. For now, it's about improving the quality of images right now, image memes, and then we will expand into GIFs and videos. But then again, that's not something we're thinking about immediately.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha. And you guys are bootstrapping everything, right? Like you're
Oh
doing
yeah,
everything
absolutely.
just from charging your own memberships.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's also a philosophical choice for all three of us, right? Ramshree, like I said, has his own SaaS. Nico also has his own other product called Ship SaaS. It's like a boilerplate for if you want to build your own SaaS, it's a boilerplate that you can buy from him and then you can use it, which is something that he used for Supermeme as well. So all of us are indie makers. I don't have a product that I'm selling, but then I subscribe to the philosophy, and I think that's that's a cool way to build products. I think we are bootstrapping everything, and we just keep the focus on how do you add more value so that we can make more revenue, and that's kind of the only thing that we focus on.
And I think a lot of that comes down to the conversation about feature ads, right? Because what we were just talking about with GIF capability or GIF capability, whatever, a lot of that does go down to feature set release, design and release. And if you're still trying to work on other core features that your users really like and are giving you feedback on, how do you then supply the additional feature build out and release and stuff like that? So, and every startup faces that. It's just the overall thing of it's like when you get that traction and you want to take advantage of it, right? You don't want to lose that traction. You don't want to be give other people the idea to enter the market with you before you have total dominance.
I think one of the I don't know if it's an advantage or a disadvantage. There is no comparison to Supermeme.ai, right? So in some cases we get requests which will kind of put us in comparisons on image editing software, or let's say like a template finding software. But I feel what we're trying to do, for example, text to meme is an idea that I don't think anyone would have asked us. Like we've existed 6 months before text to meme with just static memes. And text to meme is something that we wanted to do. We envisioned a world where people can enter a text and it will generate a meme. So I feel we also have to take some responsibility to kind of own up certain feature sets which no one even asked for, which maybe it's not a popular feature request, but that you think will add a lot of value to your target audience, right? And in achieving their goal. I think the challenge for us is that we don't have comparisons. It's not like we're going after a huge competitor so that we can just take some features from there and add it in. I think we have to kind of take kind of measured decisions to figure out what is the next thing that we want to build.
And like you said, you guys are still fairly early in it, so you're still gonna the problem with user feedback is it does kind of take a lot of time for it to rise and show itself in the data, and then start the investigation of like, okay, so this cohort of signups only stayed for this long versus this cohort, and this is the feature release timeline during that and all that stuff. And if you guys are part-time, especially in the engineering department, then it can definitely be even more straining. So it's not an easy road, I will say, but it is a fun one because you're in the right area right now. The AI space, AI marketing, AI content generation space in general is very, very popular right now. Especially with Dolly and Chat GPT coming out and all that kind of stuff. So riding that wave and showing people like, hey, look, there's other stuff you can do with it too. Look how cool this is. Look how funny this is. This is like it's useful.
You can actually get some. I think that's something that we've been focused from day one, right? We don't want to be a fun project. We don't want to be like a concept product, right? Where we know that AI can generate memes, but it's always about, okay, how do you get this in front of people who can pay money for this? Like that's kind of been the focus from day one, which I think is good, because if you want to sustain as a business, you need to have that focus. And the second thing that I want to talk about, like something from what you said, which I have completely lost right now. So maybe it'll come back to me.
Yeah, that's fine. We'll go back to it later. Awesome. Well, listen, the biggest thing that I've picked up from this is that one, the creative space seems to be dominating now, right? Not just analytical, which that's the other thing with the analytics side of it. You guys very much are focused on user experience and actually building it out, but I don't see too many features focused on analytics of like, this is the click-through rate received by this meme, and this is the campaign you attached it to, and this is, like history, just to kind of keep up, because
Yeah,
that's one thing that marketers I've noticed a lot of
definitely.
want to see.
I think, like, if I draw this out as like a Venn diagram or a chart, I think that will be the outermost layer, right? So I think we want to crack like the core meme generation, and let's say once we have that in, then the outer layers will start getting a little bit more stronger. I think that's kind of what we want to focus on. Like the core product, at least if we can get it to like 80%, and then we can start doing like 20% or 10% on the outer layers. So that way we keep our priorities kind of focused on the core product.
Sure. I mean, and just again, just my own input, which not everybody, it's just my own personal opinion, but with that outer layer forming, you will need feedback, right? Like that
Oh
feedback
yeah,
loop. And
definitely.
that's where I'm saying is like, if you have an analytics engine that is keeping track of their performance and the feedback of each, each meme that gets generated, and part of that is keeping track of the distribution of where did it go and did it do well for me? And if so, cool, let's keep that in our analytics, and then that'll kind of add feedback to the, just to the training loop and to the prediction loop. So just food for thought.
Definitely, that's helpful. And I think I'm glad that we're doing this, and we're having this conversation, because we've, as a company, as a product, we've grown from conversations like this, right? Like, be it podcast interviews, be it like customer conversations. I think with everything, it's not like, for example, you could be saying something and you could mean it in a different way. I could be taking away something completely unrelated, but then if we didn't have this conversation, that learning would never reach us. So I think
Yeah.
I'm grateful
Yeah.
for that.
And I think that feeds back to the underlying kind of value of meme generation in general, which is more effective communication, right? Like a
Yes.
picture is
Yes.
worth 1,000 words. A
Yes.
picture with 2 sentences is worth even more, right? Because
Definitely more. Yeah.
you can communicate. So
Yeah.
I think that's definitely super powerful. So who would you like, if anybody watching this, who would you like to have reach out to you the most? Who are kind of the most important connections you want to make right now, in terms of the growth of your product and your company?
Definitely marketers who are already looking to use memes in their marketing. So we obviously want to establish ourselves as a meme marketing platform, which doesn't exist today. So, like, if you're early in your thinking about meme marketing, if you want to use memes predominantly in your, like, blog posts, cold emails, like presentations or whatever, I think those are the people that we want to talk to, because we truly believe that in the next, let's say, decade or two, we'll only see an increase in the popularity of memes in mainstream marketing. So that's what we're betting the whole company on.
Okay. Awesome. So if you're an online marketer, you're responsible for creating marketing content, reach out to Supermeme.ai. Hello at Supermeme.ai. And I cannot wait to see how this is going to go over the next quarter. Even I think you guys are definitely poised to grow. And yeah, I'll definitely hopefully be doing an update on this product not too far from now. So Sanjeev, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you so much, Quentin. This has been a wonderful conversation.